I don't think this will be a crazy long meeting. I'm going to go over a couple of things first and then open it up to questions that you guys have. Again, just a reminder, it is recorded. I'm going to post this at some point tomorrow, hopefully, if I have the time, just for those schmucks that can't show up for a freaking meeting but want to know what's going on. So Kel knows exactly what I'm talking about. I saw that smirk. I saw that. All right. Well, again, let's get rolling here. Just a reminder, we're starting August 31st. I wish I could screen share, but whenever I screen share on this laptop, it screws up the meeting. So we start August 31st. Early registration deadline is tomorrow. So as Leanne asked before, it has to be in by the end of the day tomorrow. So tomorrow you can still pay that $40. After that, it's 50. Let's see. We got two captains. One's kind of speaking for a captain. If you guys could start thinking about your shirt colors, I know most of you do your own jerseys, whatever, but you guys know the shirts come with the registration. So what shirt color and logo color you want as part of that. That way I could get those done. I'll be putting that out to the captains soon to get a count, because it does take a couple of weeks to get those put together by the company. So start thinking about that. I'll put something up in the meeting after, in the chat after the meeting about.
Do you know what color we had last year? I think black. We had black and green, right?
Yeah, you picked the same color as somebody else. That I remember.
Oh, yeah, but it wasn't the same.
Into my ass. That was whole drama in the chat.
Well, that wasn't my drama. That was their drama.
No, it was Tony's drama for picking the same color.
Well,
yeah, we got the black and green last year.
So
did we? But Victor, we didn't get black shirts, did we?
Yeah, we got black with the green lettering.
Maybe it was the mob, because the mob was black with white, and you guys being black with green was a pain in the ass.
Well, I don't want black shirts. I don't think we got black shirts. Okay, go ahead, carry on.
Please. All right, hold on here. Let me see what I can do here. Okay. So I'm just going off of the post that's on Facebook. It's still up there. It'll continue to be up there. We'll remind it again. We're going off of NFL flag rules. I know a lot of you are familiar, maybe not Jared, but everybody else in here, maybe JR too, not super familiar with the NFL flag rules. NFL flag rules is not just a kid's rule set. It's actually the rules that are going to be used for the Olympics. If you didn't know already, the 2028 Olympics in LA, it's going to be the first year with flag, and they're going off of NFL flag rules. NFL flag rules, you don't have a line. You have a center who is then eligible once they hike it. And then from there, a lot of it is based off of player safety. And we're basically going to take everything from the NFL flag rules with a few exceptions that I'll go over. And, again, that's the kind of tailor more to our style while still keeping it safe, still making sure, we don't have as many issues as maybe we've had in the past. I don't think we'll ever get rid of issues completely just because people like to complain, but that's just kind of comes with territory. First difference from NFL flag. NFL flag is 5-on-5. We're sticking with 7-on-7, which we've always done. Roster limit of 20, as we've done a lot lately with the roster size. We upped the roster size a few years back, and it's going to stay at 20. I know Tony wants it more than 20. It's not going more than 20, Tony. Sorry. Number 2, 3-man line. Like I said earlier, there is no line in NFL flag. We're going with our regular 3-man line. One of those can release. It will have to be one of the guards. It cannot be the center. The center won't be able to release. Unless I'm mistaken in that. I'll confirm that with counsel, but I think that's what we decided on. Number 3 is a neutral zone. For those who've been around a while, which I guess in this call, Mikkel, you might have been for a couple of games back in the day, but I know Jared's been around when we had the line. A lot of people refer to it as a capital I. Basically, it's 2 parallel lines like this with a perpendicular line in between. It's a 1-yard buffer zone. So the center puts the ball on one end of the line, and the defensive lineman cannot be closer than the other end of the line. So it in some ways, in a lot of ways, minimizes impact on the line, minimizes issues, hopefully minimizes holding a little bit, and it isn't as smash mouth as some of the previous years have been. I think Jared would agree with me here if he could unmute, but it was definitely less physical back in the day when we used this. So it provides a little bit of a buffer between the offensive and defensive lines. Jared is saying yes, absolutely. Number 4, only the line can have contact. This goes toward the blocking downfield. For those unfamiliar with NFL flag, you cannot block in any way downfield, even after the receiver or ball carrier has the ball past the line of scrimmage. This basically allows the opportunity for players to do their own spin moves. No stiff arms. Stiff arms are not allowed. They're gone, which will definitely take away from some of the issues we've had. Certain players who are really good with stiff arms or really questionable how they use their stiff arms. That's gone. You cannot stiff arm. So the only contact is on the line. Obviously incidental contact, you run into each other, that's one thing, but blocking is not allowed. There's no shielding downfield, anything like that. Once they catch it, you're just kind of an observer watching your teammate do their thing and hopefully avoid some flag pulls. We'll definitely cut down on some of the issues we've been having, guys, claiming the lowered shoulders, this, that, the other thing. Obviously, that wouldn't be able to happen in instances like this because you can't run into contact like you would in tackle football. And I never played football in my life. I'll be the first to tell you that. But I know when you play tackle, you're trained to run into contact as much as possible and to run through guys and to use your shoulder to gain extra yardage. And I think a lot of our guys are still in that mentality, even though it's flag football. So eliminating any kind of contact will eliminate those issues downfield and hopefully keep everybody a lot safer. Next one is 3 timeouts total. As most of us know, we don't really use a whole lot of timeouts in the first half, and we want to try to keep it as close on schedule as possible. Even with changing staggered start times last year, we still had some delays and things like that. Timeouts will definitely cut down on that. Instead of having 6 total, 3 in each half, you only have 3 total. So if you want to use 1 at the end of first half to, get a last second play, you can. You only have 2 left in the second half. Number 6, clock stops only at the 2-minute warning and timeouts. This is slightly different from NFL flag. It's slightly different from what we've done in the past. In the past, inside of 2 minutes, we had all typical football stoppages, incompletes, out of bounds, penalties, that sort of thing. That will not continue with the current format. So the current format, it'll stop at the 2-minute warning like it normally would. And then after that, the clock runs unless there's a timeout. Okay, or obviously an injury situation or officials timeout. So it just keeps the game rolling more, gets the focus more on, keeping the pace up of the game rather than slowing things down and making the game drag. This definitely works wonders with youth flag. The games continue. There's a good flow, and that's why we instituted that as part of these adjusted rules. And then the last one, all fumbles are live. Obviously, we've done this before, but we put that in the Facebook post because in NFL flag, any fumble stops at the point of the fumble. And since we're using NFL flag rules, except for these modifications, we had to point that out, that any fumble will be a live ball. Obviously, the offense won't be able to advance it, but the defense can get it and take it back if, for a scoop and score if that's able to happen for them. So that's the gist of the rule changes. That's all I really wanted to go over with you guys, and I wanted to open it up to questions about any of this, questions about anything in NFL flag rules you're not familiar with, questions that, you heard rumored that this was allowed, this wasn't allowed, blah, blah, blah. I think I'm not a big rumor guy. I just come to me, ask questions, come to a council member, ask questions. If I have a question for you, I'm going to ask you. I'm not going to ask somebody else. So if anybody has a question, just so we're not all going at once, if you could kind of do that little virtual hand raise thing at the bottom there. Victor has raised his hand. Go ahead, Vic. You're up.
I was just demonstrating the hand thing.
Oh, thank you for your assistance. You're a wonderful helper. Thank you. P.S. You should be captain.
Did I miss it?
Leanne, go ahead.
Wasn't there something different with the quarterback too?
This is a misconception that a lot of people have, and I think I cleared this up with a few guys since this misconception started. NFL flag rules state that to have a blitzer, you have to be 7 yards back in order to blitz the
7
quarterback.
yards back. What do you mean by that? Like,
Can you let me
Yes,
talk,
I
Tony?
was going to say.
Thanks. Smack him, please, Leanne. Tony, you've been to games, but just to clarify, in NFL flag rules, you have to be 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage to blitz the quarterback.
okay.
That is not the case here because of the line blitz. Linebackers even don't have to be that 7 yards back.
Okay, cool.
You could blitz from any. You could do an all-out blitz all on the line if you want, but as soon as anybody comes into that neutral zone, the quarterback can run. That includes linemen.
Oh,
Okay? This is a misconception. People were thinking that the quarterback couldn't run unless a linebacker blitz. That's not true.
That's what I thought.
As long as any defender comes into or past that neutral zone, the quarterback can run. So in essence, just about every play, except for maybe at the end of a half or the end of a game, sometimes the line won't rush and they'll just kind of, almost drop back into a linebacker situation. That would be the only time that the quarterback can't run. Right. So
Okay. Yeah, I was confused on that. So, Victor, you listening to this?
he's on the meet. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
Give him
running
that
for
some
my
credit.
life.
And he raised his little hand over there.
I'll be running for my life the entire time.
Wow.
What
Well,
about
with the
the
line
box?
you've had previously? I'd say that's for sure, buddy.
Yeah, I have only one good leg left, so
Just throwing out there, JR is a free agent. He's a lineman.
I hear that. Now with the box, the offensive box,
Yeah.
with the defenders, can they stay on the outside, or are we going to line them up?
What you mean? Like, could you line up out wide?
Yeah, like outside
like,
shoulder.
There's
stay on
not
the
going to be
outside
like
shoulder.
an actual line box. Like, it's this eye that I'm talking about is only about a yard wide. It's like a yard by a yard. And so you don't have to stay within that. That's ridiculous. Like one human being fits in there. So you could line up out wide. You could line up on outside shoulder to guard or whatever. Okay. But you do still have to be on the line, like to be part of the line. You have to be a lineman. You have to have minimum of 2 defensively, like we've done in the past, where they would be on the line. Okay. Now,
Yeah,
you can't go ahead and tell me a wideout is counted as a lineman and have one guy in on the line. That's BS. But within arm's reach of the offensive line, you're good.
All right, because like an extra wide defensive line. That's what I mean. Like the way they spread it out wider than the box.
As long as you're like I said, within arm's reach, you're considered on the line.
Sounds good.
Cal, go ahead.
So you're basically saying like you can't send like a corner blitz.
Oh, you certainly can. You absolutely can. You could blitz
It's just for the 3 line.
Any person can blitz at any time.
All right.
Okay. You don't have to be that 7 yards back like an NFL flag. You could blitz from the corner. You could blitz like Vic said. You could have somebody out wide in the slot or whatever coming to blitz. Absolutely fine.
Okay.
But again, as soon as the defender comes past that line, I remember the quarter Vic's running.
Back and run. Okay.
Hobbling, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I'm ready to move.
You're not moving. You're hobbling. Come on.
I don't know about that, bro.
All right. And then also with the fumbles being live, are the defensive players, since there's no contact, are they able to strip, or it just has to be like a running and it just happens to be a fumble?
As long as the strip is, following the rules previously of stripping where you can't hold a guy and strip or anything like that, that kind of contact, like slapping at the ball,
right? That's
not going to be called for contact.
Okay.
That's part of the attempt to go for the strip.
Okay.
Good question. That's one I actually haven't heard yet.
And then also, what was the other? So I know you said like the clock doesn't stop inside 2 minutes, or yeah, like once it gets under 2 minutes, clock doesn't stop.
Yeah.
So say like the quarterback on the other team throws the ball and it goes like out of bounds, but like 15 yards out of bounds, and we're running to the ball to go get it to put it back in play. Right there, that may take off like about 30 seconds right there. So like, is there any way we could get like a buffer, like as long as the ball's around the area, then the clock can keep running. But if it goes like, I mean, because sometimes the ball goes farther away, and now I mean that runs off a whole half a minute, sometimes a
Are
minute.
you talking like on a change of possession, or are you just talking in general?
The
Like in
ball
general,
retrieval.
like if I mean, throw a fly and then the ball goes like 40 yards downfield out of bounds and stuff, and we're trying to rush and get another play in.
I would say we could definitely give some buffer to that, for a
Right,
ball that's way out there, and
right.
because then they're using the entirety of the play clock, just half of it just to get the ball. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay, yeah, that was my only two questions there.
Gotcha. Yeah, that will have to make clear to everybody on that one. I get you.
Right. Okay.
Two good ones. Wish I could say the same for Tony.
He's gone. He's not listening now.
Good. Keep him far away because he doesn't
That's
listen
what
even when he's listening.
I know, before he comes up with another question, because he'll be asking me questions then when he's too busy doing karaoke. So he doesn't want to know now,
Wait,
but
are
he'll want
you
to
at
know
your
later.
house?
What?
Are you at your house right now?
I'm on my deck, actually.
He's doing karaoke at your house?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's a weird dude. By
Yeah, he
himself?
indeed. Oh, he's on TikTok.
Oh gosh.
Don't even ask, Kevin. Don't even ask.
He has a good following. You should check him out and participate.
No, this is just another example why I don't have TikTok.
He's really not bad, though, considering like he sings pretty decently.
I don't want to see that, Leanne. I'm sorry.
I know you
Don't want to see or hear that. I'm good. I am good.
I hear you.
Oh, other questions?
I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Aside from the rumors that people have been, because I was totally confused when we were playing Victor, when we were playing the Warriors last week in the script. Like I didn't know what was going on, and you're gonna have a hard time enforcing these rules, I think.
Eh. Believe it or not, a lot of the things we did back in the day.
Yeah,
And it was actually a whole lot easier to enforce things than the last few years have been.
yeah, I bet. But
So
Victor has his hand raised.
it's going to be obviously an adjustment for some people, especially people who didn't play the first 5 years or so of the league.
Right.
But gosh, my account is blocked temporarily. Good. I'm trying to type these. There's a page on the website that has. Oh, here we go. I'm just like these couple of questions that you guys are coming up with. I'm just trying to put them right onto there so that people can, because these questions are questions that are going to come up. I already have some questions up there already. I don't know if anybody had a chance to check that out. I did throw it in the Discord earlier, but just some general questions that people have already asked. Kel had a couple of good questions. Leanne had a question there. I'm going to go back over and watch this because, like I said, it is recorded. So I'm going to watch this, and any questions that I missed, I'm going to make sure I have in there. Vic, go ahead. I see your hand.
Yeah, what about running plays when like the contact off the line? Are they still able to make that first initial contact and then stop?
Who making contact?
Line.
Oh, yeah, the
Like
line can have contact the whole time. The line can block. The line is the only ones allowed to block, but they can't go downfield and block.
Yeah, but like right there in that in that zone.
Yeah,
like if I had him pull out,
can continue their blocking as this running play develops, or obviously during the course of a passing play, there as long as they're still on the line, they can continue to block, no matter whether it's a running play or a passing play.
so I can have them shift the whole line to the right side for a right hand run. As long as they don't go past the line, it's fine.
Correct.
That's what you're saying.
Correct.
Yeah. As soon as he gets free, then you gotta obviously hold up.
Yeah. Once he's past you, once the running back or the quarterback, whatever it is past you, that's the end there.
What about a tight end? How about if I put two tight ends? They can all make contact as well?
If they're on the line, yes. If they're on the line, yes.
Okay.
If they're a tight end in a slot, no.
So if I put two tight ends on either side, it's fine. And I can have basically like entire
Yeah, you
5-man
could
line.
have a 4-man line, and therefore you could, let 2 go. Your 2 tight ends could go. They could block. They could block it and release. Anything like that. Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right. So I got
Oh,
this.
one other thing. And
Raise
what
your
was
hand,
the?
Leanne. Raise your hand.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The other thing was it always like this where they said there's only one first down? Was it always that way?
No, there were 2.
Okay.
And so that is the change and that's one thing I didn't highlight. The field is actually smaller, which is
Right.
why we're going to just the 1 first down.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
the possession starts on the 5, and you have which would essentially be the 25 is midfield, as opposed to the 35 previous years. Because previously, for every year except for 1, we've played on a 70-yard field with 2 10-yard end zones. This is a 50-yard field with 2 10-yard end zones. So it's 20 yards less length of the actual field.
Okay.
And because of that, there's only 1 first down. So you're getting the ball on the 5. You have to go 20 yards to get a first down, which would be the 25 or midfield.
Right.
Previously, you got the ball on the 10, and you needed to get 10 yards to get a first down, and then 30 yards to get your second first down. So here, you get your first down, you're already 25 yards from the end zone. So
Right.
there's no need for a second first down. What this will hopefully do is open up the game more, make it more offensive.
Yeah.
And the more offensive the game becomes, the less contact there is by nature. The safer it is, the less problems we're going to have.
Right.
That's the rationale behind that. So,
Okay.
I mean, Mikhail Shakin said, I know he's at a lot of games, NFL flag, and depending, you could have really, especially with the older kids, once they know their bodies and how to move their bodies on the field and stuff, they're pretty high scoring. And I think we're going to have the same thing, even though with adults, we're going to have 4 more guys on the field, because we're talking adult athletes here in their 20s, 30s, almost even in their 40s. It's going to open things up more. You're going to see higher scoring games. And I think that's just going to add to the fun of what we do.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I knew that I thought that was different, but I wasn't 100% sure.
While we're on the subject, and Vic, I'll get you in just a second, but just because it kind of stems off of Leanne's question, there is this 5-yard no run zone. Okay. I know Vic asked a couple of questions about runs before. When you're on offense, you can't run within 5 yards of the first down or within 5 yards of the end zone. Okay. So that's going to eliminate power runs. That eliminates a lot of issues with injuries and scuffles and scrums, whatever you want to call them, and forces people to do something a little different and open things up a little more, rather than just stacking behind 200-300-pound monsters and get an easy 6. So, I mean, you could run from the 6-yard line. You could run from the 5.5. You just can't run from that 5 in. So that's something that's NFL flag that absolutely is carrying over. Again, it's a safety thing, and it just makes it more dynamic of a game, so to speak. Vic, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. What about a blitz on that?
A blitz on
when you're in the no run zone and they shoot a blitz at you, you still can't run, right?
That's a good question. I'm trying with NFL flag, you can run because because we're going off the NFL flag rules, the quarterback would then be allowed to run. Now, you wouldn't be allowed to run. You can't do a design run, like you can't do a halfback run. You can do a quarterback run. Once that blitz happens, then yes.
Correct. All right.
So that's what your question, that kind of brings something up that I'm thinking, and maybe this is what you're thinking too. Actually, Vic, I'm going to let you talk about that a little bit more, so I understand your question and I understand where to take it with the guys.
So I'm only meaning that like I'm in the 3 yards away from the touchdown, and then Flo decides to come up the middle. Now I got 4 guys rushing me. can I run into the touchdown?
This is one
can-
that I'm going to have to get some clarification with guys on. I know what I would like it to be, but I can't just go ahead and say, hey, this is how it's going to be. My personal opinion would be if it's just a defensive line blitzing, that the quarterback wouldn't be able to run.
Yeah, I was specifying for the fourth guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would think that with a fourth you would, but I can't go ahead and just, make that decision on my own.
Okay.
So I will definitely take that back to the guys. I'm making note of this right now.
I mean, if they did something like that, a no run zone would be a no blitz zone.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if we're going to eliminate blitzing in that regard, but what I'm saying is I would think that if they blitz a fourth, the quarterback would be able to run.
That would be a tremendous thing if you let me know that one.
That's something that I got to go back and get you an answer to.
Sounds good.
Because that would definitely be something different from NFL flag.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be a tough situation because if like even if you have the D lineman rushing and you're on a 3.5 yard line, so you basically, if you were stuck, you'd have to either throw it out of bounds or force to throw an interception because you have people in your face. You know what I mean? So that would be tough.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a flag for intentional grounding. Like if I just shot it down to the floor.
No,
I
we
can't run.
don't have intentional grounding.
Okay.
So the only thing that concerns me is like, say you're say you're fourth and goal from the half-foot line. I don't want to see some quarterback trying to go in, quarterback sneak and getting busted up, having some issue there if it's just a 3-man line. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point of the no-run zone, is to prevent things like that. And so that's definitely a good question that I have to go back to the guys and get some clarification on how we want to handle that one. So I'll approach it two ways: with the regular 3-man line rush and with any additional blitzers. They might decide, hey, we want to do the same thing with both. They might have 1 for 3, 1 for 4. We'll talk that out and get that out to everybody.
Right. So like if all right, say the line doesn't blitz on that instance. So say like the line drops back in coverage.
Mm-hmm.
There's no clock to throw the ball, right?
No, we don't have a throw clock.
Okay.
In any situation, whether it's inside that no run or anything like that, there's because of the fact that you could blitz at any time, we're not having a throw clock. No.
Okay.
And that's another good question, because that is part of NFL flag, and that didn't make it into our 7 adjusted rules thing. But
Right.
yeah, there's no throw clock.
Okay.
I think JR just left us. Oh no.
What
other
about
questions?
since everything's designed to be high scoring? What happens if we have a lopsided game? Would it be ended? Let's just say by the first half it's 45-0. Do you have an option to like end the game, or do we gonna continue playing it out?
Well, similar.
Would that be like a coach's agreement or something like that?
See, the NFL flag rules, once it hits 35, you stop scoring. Once the difference is 35, you keep playing, but you don't keep score any longer. So
Would that be
that's
considered a win at that point?
it would be a win at that point. So then, like, you still keep playing, still get your money's worth out of, being in the league. It's just, hey, you're down 42-7. That's going to be the final score, 42-7.
Okay. Now, my other question was, how about the second half? We come out and score 42 points.
If you go down 42-7 in the first half, Vic, you ain't scoring 42 points in the second half. But
What happens if I change my entire offense and score 47 points in the second half? I mean,
who you bringing in, Belichick at halftime or what?
I can't speak on that.
He's too busy about young little honey he's got. He ain't coming to Wilkes-Barre to do flag football. Come on.
I dig it, but That's just something I figured I'd ask because it might be somebody out there that.
I got you. That one we might actually turn that over. That could probably be something we turn over to the hands of the captains and say, hey, captains, what do you want to do here? Like just in general, do we want to keep the score going? Which I think most guys would be okay with. And Lady in Leanne's case, keep the score going, although Raptors are often on the wrong end of those scores, so maybe she wants it to stay at 35. I don't know.
Zip it, buddy. Zip it.
I'm just saying. I'm going off
See
of
how
the
he is?
historical
You'll
record.
see.
Go on the website. Look at the scores. You lost
got
by
his
35 many a time,
He's got
buddy.
his cheese poker poking at the Raptors, bro.
Hey, that was in the past. We're gonna show you this year.
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
gonna show you. We're winning the whole damn thing this year. I promise you
Go
that.
back to karaoke, Mr. TikTok.
Yo, Michael, is that Michael over there?
Yeah.
No, you're really TikToking with that shirt open like that. Ain't nobody.
Yeah, Michael. Michael, why didn't you come? Why didn't you come play with our team? You went over there, bro. You had a spot over here. You know that.
He wants to win,
Yeah.
Tony. He wants to win.
Nah, he wants to.
Now, Kevin, you have to stir the pot, don't
That's
you?
wild behavior, man.
You were supposed to keep him off camera.
Oh, Sickle,
I'm
here's the
trying,
rule.
I'm
Wait,
trying.
here's the rule. I told my mother, I said this, what if Sickle made a rule in the league where he has to be in every single group chat on the whole league? Like you have to be in everybody's group chat.
Why in God's name would I want to do that?
That's what I
He'd
said.
probably kill everyone.
That's what I said. You'd want to kill everybody at that point.
If you knew how many group chats I'm in as it is, and how I'll wake up to 742 messages.
Oh, do you have any, before I go, do you have any more dry rub left or no?
I always have dry rub, buddy.
Good, I'll order some next week.
All right, go back to your TikTok. Kelly, you had a question. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah. So if we all end in how do the tiebreakers work as far as for playoff seeding and things like that?
Tiebreakers will go to, let me see if I can pull it up here. I believe we're essentially NFL tiebreak rules. But let me pull it up just to make sure.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going head-to-head first, and then it will be within division. So, yeah, it's pretty much the NFL tiebreak rules. Chances are there will be obviously a little bit of a, depending on how many teams, we're looking at 5, potentially 6 already right now. I kind of expected fewer teams this year, regardless of what format we did, because what do we have, 9 last year? And Rebus is out. Assassins are essentially out, although Mixon, what's his name is out from. Gosh, help me out here.
The mob is out.
Well, yeah, Gary's out. Takeover U is out. And they were out before any kind of rule changes or anything like that. Gary obviously with his retirement or whatever. And here we got basically an Assassins mob blend, kind of going on. So, I mean, the loss of, and then you had Ron's team, Guerrero's team. We could have been playing any rules imaginable. They weren't coming back, because they already had people showing up last year. So we're right around where we kind of expected to be. I mean, if we get an extra team or two, great. I certainly hope Pylon continues to be with us because they've been a great team. I think the only year they missed was year 1. And, as usual, it's always an issue with getting line. But, it's I got to be upfront and honest like I always am with you guys. I wanted the line gone because the line is where 90% of the problems happen. It's really hard to get a line. And, I think we open ourselves up to getting more teams if we don't have a line. But the other side of the token and the side that won out, because I'm only one person, is then we're eliminating the possibility of some guys playing. Like, half of the heavyweights, are they going to play if there's no line? No.
Right.
And most teams you could pick and say, hey, there are a couple of guys. They really have no role if there's no line. Right. So that's the end of one out. I'm not saying I'm mad about that, but it's not what I was hoping for. Especially with, every single year people have struggled to get a line. And, you have a couple of teams who will have a line, a couple of teams who won't. And,
Right.
you know, that's just always been the case. So that's where we're at
Right.
with that.
Okay. All right,
It
no
would have been
problem. No problem.
interesting to see how it went that way, though.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I mean, people who are big proponents of having a line said, hey, well, why don't we just go NFL flag rules? Or why don't we go with whatever they do for the Olympics? And I said, sure, I'm cool with that, because I already had a little bit of an inkling through connections to the NFL flag and whatnot that that's the way they were going to go. I mean, you see all this hype that, you know, you're watching playoff games, you're watching the Super Bowl, you're watching the Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl's all flag. They're doing all these promotions with flag. And when a football of any format becomes part of the Olympics, you know, the NFL, the biggest organization of football there is going to be involved. And they don't want their guys going out and getting hurt. Kind of knew it was going to be a flag format, and kind of knew they were going to go with the NFL flag. So here it pops out that they're using the NFL flag rules, and the guys are like, well, wait a second, maybe we don't want to do NFL flags. We want to still have a line. We want to do this. We want to do that. And thankfully, in a lot of ways, cooler heads prevailed and realized this is the way to go. We're not completely NFL flag, but we're definitely not what we used to be either. And I think it's going to play out to be a nice mix. It's going to be a bit of an adjustment for people first couple of weeks. You know, players, captains, officials, myself, you know, it's going to be a little different, and that's to be expected. Just like it was when we went, I mean, none of you were around the first year. We played at Diamond City Park, which, Kel, I know you know where it is. Vic, you know where it is. Leanne, Jared, I'm not sure if you're familiar. It's where we play wiffle ball. And outside there, we played flag football. It was a 50-yard field, 2 5-yard end zones, and the end zones ended at the fence, like literally at the fence. It was a nightmare. But when we changed from that format to, I guess, version 2, where we went to a 70-yard field and, you know, we had this eye thing, whatever, it was an adjustment, and it took several weeks. And then a few years later, when totally against my wishes, we went to like stiff arming and blocking downfield, that was a huge adjustment. This, I think, is going to be an adjustment, but it's going to be an easier adjustment. Because, yeah, you know, guys are used to stiff arm, blah, blah, blah. But let's be honest here. There's probably 7 or 8 guys in the league who were even proficient at stiff arming, let alone good at it. You know, blocking outfield, as you guys said earlier, not a lot of teams did it anyway. I don't think it's going to be as big of an adjustment as people think it's going to be. But only time's going to tell. More questions? Any other questions? I'm open as long as you folks have questions. I'm here. I just got to go whoop some butt in college football here, Cal. Big matchup. Playing Fernandez, USC.
Okay.
I believe it's at the Big House.
Yeah.
So we're playing right after. So
Got the advantage, then you got the advantage.
That's right. Oh, man, you're going to be here. Hail to the victor till they stop playing it. I won't kick that ball off until the band's done playing, buddy.
Right.
Just get in the head, you know?
Right.
So,
What about the refereeing? It's still going to be players refs?
yes, sir. And I'll tell this till the Cavs come home. I've talked to our PIAA guys. They won't even ref for $100 a game. To put that in perspective, we paid them $40 a game for kids. They won't ref for $100 a game.
Too much
Even
drama.
Well,
with the
then,
new
Kevin.
modified rules?
Correct. Even with they don't want to deal with adults.
Well, I can't blame them in that respect, but then you have to give these referees some, like, they got to pay attention. Do you know what I mean? They got to pay attention, especially like with this time clock. Some games seem like they go on for eternity, and some games seems like they're over in no time because they're not paying attention.
I have
Like-
something in mind that I'm trying to work on with a couple of guys on council and myself, because, I mean, if we stick with 6 teams, which I think will be somewhere around there, we're not going to have to do 2 games at once. We're only going to have to do 1.
Right.
And it's going to make it a lot easier for myself and other league officials to monitor things and keep an eye on things, because for the first, 6, 7 years, maybe even 8 years of the league, we only had 1 game at a time. From the entire time, well, the 1 year we played in East End, and then the entire time at Kirby Park, we only had one game at a time. It was so much easier to manage things.
Yeah, I bet.
I think with having fewer teams, although probably not ideal, but again, I think it's going to work out to our benefit in a lot of ways. There'll only be one game at a time. Therefore, myself, some of the council who's there will be able to keep an eye on things a lot better and hopefully keep those refs a little more in check. Are they going to be perfect? No, of course not. I think we all know that, especially when we're only paying $10 a game. I'd like to be able to make that a little bit more. Believe it or not, one time we paid, I believe it was $5 a game, or no, it was $8 a game. And we were able to work things to increase that. I think we can look at making that maybe 15 a game per guy. But again, that's not something I could just come out and say we're going to do. It has to be run by the guys and approved.
Right.
We have to look at the numbers.
So is there a way? I know that like they have those electric scoreboards. I'm not sure if that's in like a budget or anything. To get
I'm sorry, what
maybe,
kind of
like,
scoreboard? It kind of
the
skipped out.
electric scoreboards.
We had one at one time.
Right.
Back in the day at Kirby, and that's definitely something we can look into to bring back.
Right.
It all depends on cost, and that obviously is a huge part of it. But
Right.
I personally would definitely like to bring that back. To be honest with you, it's great for the players. It sucks for the officials
Right.
because you're using this remote control that only works within, like, say, 50 feet of the scoreboard.
Right.
And you're hitting a button and it's not stopping the clock, and people are bitching, oh, that 2 extra seconds went off, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But there's definitely a lot of advantage to having that. So that's something that
But
we
even
will
if we
look
get say we get like another person that's a ref, but he's just doing the scoreboard, maybe that, you know what I mean, something
Yeah,
like that.
That's the scorekeeper.
into. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Because that'll help out as far as like end of game situations, things like that too. Because now we know
Yeah.
how much time's on the clock. We're not asking the ref a million times.
I got you.
Yeah, we got a lot
Yeah,
of
and
issues
nobody
like
ever
that.
knows the score anyway.
No, because when it's off, the score's like 56 to like nothing, and then scoreboard's like, "Oh, did you put the score?
Are you
No.
back? Go
That's your
away.
game. Those are only Raptors games, Tony. Only Raptors games. No scores.
Shut up, Sickle! What the hell? Shut
He
up.
brought it
Tony.
up. He brought it
Tony
up.
beat it. Tony beat it.
You're supposed
You beat it,
to stay
Victor.
in his cage until this meeting is over.
Yes, go away.
Failing in your job.
He's like a bad penny. He keeps turning up.
It's like a bad something, all right.
Yeah,
I don't know
but
if I
nobody
use it-
ever
I don't know
knows.
if I'd say penny.
That'd be a good idea if you could do something like that. But I see what your, things are too. And nobody ever knows the score.
Yeah.
Like, I think half the time they're just guessing. I really do.
And like Kel said, having somebody dedicated to the scoreboard
Right.
is a good
Exactly.
idea. I mean, honestly, that would probably be a better distribution of funds than paying somebody $15. You pay your regular
Absolutely.
guys $10, the 310, and then you have somebody else as a fourth doing just the clock, because
Right.
I would love that. I mean, you still need somebody to do play clock because most affordable
sure.
electric
Yeah.
scoreboards, you can't do both.
Right.
But that would probably be a better usage of that extra, trying to figure out some extra money doing it that way, getting people to keep the score.
Right.
I like that. Kel's on fire here.
He is.
I like it. Jared, are you there? I see your thing kind of flashing. Are you unmuted?
Oh yeah, I'm here now. Yeah.
Go ahead, my man. You got any questions?
Not really questions. I really don't. I don't think the transition rule wise will be hard at all. We've gone back and forth with little things like this for years. That'll be no issue, really.
Thank you for your vote of confidence there, JG.
I mean, neutral zone's fine. Stiff arming going away is fine. That's
More
not a
than
problem.
fine. That's more than fine.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely a big plus for me.
So some of the people that we alluded to earlier that are no longer part of the league were big proponents of that, and it was easy to remove. And your partner in crime there, I guess, Kel, Waters was not a fan of that, but Waters
Yeah.
stepped down from council. And Waters was always a big fan of the stiff arm, and it just,
Right.
I mean, it just brought so many problems. You know, you were there probably at the tail end before stiff arms and then after stiff arms, and Jared's
Right.
been there the whole time too. You know, it's the dynamics of the league changed dramatically when we allowed stiff arms and downfield blocking.
Yeah, I mean, too many issues, fights, and things like that.
And again, I'll be 100% transparent as I usually am. If things didn't change and we didn't do something about format, we wouldn't be having this call right now because this league would not be happening. It was to the point where, you know, council is great behind the scenes. Council is not great at being there on game days. And when the majority of stuff falls on my shoulders and there's all this moaning and groaning and complaining, I'm not going to drop curses here because this is being recorded and I'm on my school account. You know what I'm saying? It's too much. It's too much to have to deal with, too much to have to, you know, try to calm people down, this, that, and the other thing. And, you know, I said to people, and I think the only time I may have ever commented on anything in that goofy players union thing, whatever, was the changes were going to happen. And like I said, I none of these changes I did by myself. I can't. I don't. People think I have this kind of power that I could do whatever the heck I want, whenever the heck I want, and I can't. And it's designed like that on purpose because, trust me, if things were the way I wanted and only the way I wanted it, things would be a lot different in pretty much every sport we play. But I know my ideas aren't always the best ideas. I'll be the first to admit that. Things I want might not be what everybody else wants and what the players want and what's best for the league. And that's why we have these councils and you know, take things to captains as we're able to take things to captains, because it gets a better picture of what it's some of what people want and the players want, but also what our mission is. And that was the whole driving force behind some of the rule changes. In fact, most of the rule changes is getting back to our mission and having fun, getting people out there, enjoying playing, wanting to come back next week. Not, oh, you know, I got to go to flag again this week or got to deal with the idiots again this week. It's, hey, I get to go have fun, you know, bust some chops, you know, have a good time, watch the other games, go home in one piece and not worry about, you know, who's going to start a fight or who's going to, you know, smash your mouth and make you have to go and, you know, get some sort of dental work or whatever. And it's just playing sports that we all love, going out there, having a good time, and leaving at the end of the day the same way you came in.
Right.
Anybody else? Again, I'll stay as long as you guys want to ask questions or whatever, but you let me know. No?
I think I'm good, bro.
All right. Well,
I'm
you
good.
guys all know anything, just jump out, reach out to me, you know, get in touch. Any questions, but I think we're off to a pretty good start. And hey, we did it in about an hour there. How about that? Even with Tony's interruptions, we were done before an hour.
Yeah, right.
Don't say the name if you don't want to deal with the problem.
Oh man. Keep him home for me, Leanne, please.
I could never do that.
You could. You could.
We
All
got
right.
some
Well, thanks for
extra-
jumping on, everybody. Like I said, I'll get this posted eventually for anybody else who has questions. But take stuff back to your teams, please. You know, if anything comes up, let me know, and we'll address it as soon as we can.
All
Yep.
right.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
All right.
Thanks, Sickle.
See you.